At my wedding, the photographer asked, "Should I get photos of you with your wife's boyfriend?" "What boyfriend?" He laughed nervously. "Sorry, I meant ex-boyfriend. I didn't know any of Crystal's ex-boyfriends were here. She'd never mentioned inviting one." The photographer hurried away before I could ask more questions. I started looking for Crystal to ask her about it, but couldn't find her anywhere. The dance floor was full, but she wasn't there. Her veil was on our table, but she was gone. People were starting to pack up their things, even though we still had 2 hours left. My aunt gave me the dirtiest look when I walked past. My cousin whispered something to her husband while staring at me. They all knew something I didn't. I went to the bar where the bartender was already looking at me with pity. "Hey man, you need a drink?" he asked. "No, I'm just looking for my wife." He shook his head. "Usually if you can't find your wife on your wedding night, she's either screwing someone else or running away. Crystal's not like that. She's better than that." The bartender just poured me a shot anyway and walked to the other end of the bar. I turned around and bumped straight into a caterer carrying a tray of glasses. Everything crashed to the floor. I bent down to help pick up the mess and noticed something weird. A condom wrapper had fallen out of his pocket. The caterer went wide-eyed and basically ran away from me. That's when I noticed his uniform was different from the other catering staff. His was black, while theirs were navy blue. He wasn't real staff. He was in disguise. By the time I realized this, he was already gone through the kitchen doors. I followed him out the back exit of the venue into the parking lot. The second I stepped outside, something grabbed my ankle. I jumped back and looked down. There was a white dress spread across the gravel. Crystal's wedding dress. She was lying on the ground reaching for me. I dropped to my knees and turned her over. Blood was everywhere. Her hand was pressed against her throat trying to stop the bleeding. Someone had slit her throat. "Crystal, Crystal!" She couldn't talk. Blood kept pouring through her fingers. Her eyes were terrified, and she kept pointing toward the parking lot where I saw taillights speeding away. I ripped off my jacket and pressed it against her neck. "Somebody help! Call 911!" People came running out. Someone brought towels. My brother called an ambulance while I held Crystal, trying to keep pressure on the wound. "Stay with me, baby. Stay with me." The ambulance came in 8 minutes, but it felt like hours. I rode with her to the hospital, covered in her blood, still in my tuxedo. The paramedics worked on her the whole way, telling me to keep talking to her. The surgery took 4 hours. The doctor said the cut missed her carotid by 2 millimeters. If it had been any deeper, she would have died in that parking lot. When Crystal woke up, she couldn't talk because of the damage to her throat. She had to write everything down. "Jonah," she wrote. "Your ex?" She nodded and wrote more. "Dressed as caterer. Cornered me outside. Want to smash." Said no. He had knife. The police found Jonah Holder 12 hours later trying to cross into Canada. He'd been stalking Crystal for 2 years since their breakup. He'd found out about our wedding from social media and decided if he couldn't have her, no one could.